have something warm to wear on my hand. I hate snow because it's too cold. I love snow. I like to play with snow. I love snow.
Love it or hate it, but in many parts of the world, you just have to live with it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today we are taking our viewers to the heart of the Canadian prairies, the city of Edmonton. This is a place where people have to endure the challenges of snow from as early as September to as long as the following May. It is not unusual to see a blanket of white snow on the ground for up to 9 months of the year. In fact, the occasional snow flurries can even fall in the month of June. And when winter hits Edmonton, it can hit very hard indeed. Coupled with the snow are often frigid temperatures. A mass of heavy Arctic air will move in from the polar regions and settle over the Canadian prairies. Temperatures may dip to minus 30 degrees Celsius and sometimes even plummet down to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Even though, looking out from the comfort of the centrally heated homes, it may be a beautiful sight to look at with the bright sun making the snow glisten, but looks can be deceiving. One must be well bundled up, wearing several layers of clothing to venture out in this weather. Along with the bone-chilling temperatures, the wintry wind will make it feel even colder. The temperature may be minus 35 degrees Celsius, but if the wind is blowing at only 20 kilometers per hour, it will actually feel as if the temperature is an unimaginable minus 49 degrees Celsius. This effect is called the wind chill. So anyone who must venture out in these inhospitable conditions cannot stay outdoors for very long without risking frostbite. Frostbite becomes an increasing threat to humans and animals. At a wind chill of minus 45, be ready to cut short or cancel outdoor activities. Frostbite is possible in minutes. But don't think that life shuts down for Edmontonians when the winter weather gets this formidable. The people of Edmonton are a hardy lot, and life continues at full speed no matter how much snow there is or how frigid the temperatures are. The winter of 1906-1907 was the most wicked winter ever seen in Edmonton history. The average daily high was minus 19 degrees Celsius, and the average daily low was minus 31 degrees Celsius. The thermometers registered temperatures above freezing for only 3 days all winter long. And if that sounds bad, the amount of snow that fell that winter was an unimaginable 2.4 meters. In November, 90 centimeters of snow fell. That was followed by 50 centimeters in December, and on the snow came down. But Edmontonians survived that memorable winter and those monstrous piles of snow, and they continue to persevere through winters and snow today. When the typical Edmonton resident wakes up in the morning and realizes that another few centimeters has fallen overnight, he knows what his first task is. A new snowfall means spending more time in sub-zero temperatures clearing and shoveling the driveway and sidewalks. But the job has got to be done. So haul out the shovel and get a good workout pushing and throwing the snow out of the way. There is no option of just letting the snow sit there. Otherwise, the sidewalks may become impassable. A fortunate few have invested in mechanical leverage to assist them with the work by buying a snowblower. This makes life a little bit easier. Well, the snow is cleared from around the house, but now comes the drive to work. In Edmonton, the main streets and thoroughfares are cleared of snow regularly, but the residential streets rarely get attention. And after several snowfalls, the residential streets often become impassable as the typical car struggles to inch its way out of the crescents and cul-de-sacs, and to make it out to a street cleared of the white stuff. When the snow gets too deep, though, and if enough residents lodge their complaints, the city of Edmonton will send its snowplows to clear the residential streets. This, however, is both a blessing and a curse. The streets now become navigatable, but the plows will leave what amounts to levees of ice and snow, called windrows, all along the street sides. This makes the streets very narrow indeed, and the two-way traffic becomes an exercise in patience and courtesy. Most Edmontonians are the friendly and considerate type and will let their fellow man pass before proceeding themselves. Streets in the city of Edmonton must be cleared of snow to keep life functioning. Cities prepare a budget for snow removal, but this budget can be quickly exhausted if more snow than expected falls, and the snowplows are out working more often than planned. Winter driving in Edmonton is a very tricky operation indeed. The key is patience and allowing yourself more time than usual to get to your destination, especially right after a snowfall. Only a fool will rush while driving. Even by driving with the best of care, there is no guarantee that your journey will be incident-free. There are just too many hazards in driving in the snow. Black ice on the street is a very real threat, and slippery spots abound all over the place. Accidents will happen. Seatbelts are essential for protection, just in case you get into a fender bender. Anti-lock brakes, now very common in most new vehicles, are also a lifesaver. They allow you to maintain control and steering of your vehicle just in case you slip on the icy roads. Edmonton's White Mud Drive, especially the Queensnell Bridge, is truly infamous as a crash alley following a major snowfall. The curves and twists are an invitation for vehicle collisions, often involving many cars, when the road conditions get particularly bad. The tow truck drivers know this place well, and are often ready and waiting at this location following a major snow event. They move in as quickly as possible to clear the road of disabled cars so that smooth flowing traffic can resume quickly.
Winter months, our workload increases dramatically. We have to fight the weather like everybody else, the road conditions. Our equipment sometimes is touchy, everything freezes up, so we have a little bit more struggle with it. Most of our calls in the winter are a lot of boosts. People forget to plug their cars in, so we spend a lot of time doing service calls like that, along with the regular tows. We can't wait for summer though, because things do slow down when the weather warms up. But yeah, overall it's a challenging job, but when we get called out and we arrive, our members are really happy to see us.
By the way, always keep the cell phone number of a tow truck company handy whenever you venture out in your car in the winter. On very, very cold days, if your vehicle is left out in the frigid air for too long, it just may not start up. Temperatures of minus 30 degrees can disable an engine after only a few hours. What do you do now? Better have your cell phone handy also. Call up the tow truck to give your engine a boost. He's on his way in a few hours. We spoke to an auto repair shop manager on this.
Change in weather affects our business especially when it gets cold, because people that have not been maintaining their vehicles suddenly have breakdowns and system failures due to the lack of maintenance. The cold weather puts a stress on systems and creates more business for us because vehicles break down. In the winter, people need to make sure they add gasoline antifreeze occasionally to avoid the chance of moisture getting in the fuel and fuel line freeze-ups. They also need to make sure that they have a block heater, an engine heater that works so when the vehicle sits overnight it can keep the engine warm, which is easier on starters, batteries, and the whole system of all the systems in the vehicle. Extreme weather conditions, especially cold weather in the winter, affects our business because vehicles break down due to lack of maintenance and just the severe stress on systems that cold weather puts. Mechanical systems failures are more prevalent when the weather is very cold. Extra advice for drivers driving in severe weather, especially in winter where the roads are slippery and the temperatures are cold, is to warm up their vehicles and make sure the windows are swept off and clear for clear visibility. Also to make sure their tire pressure is good so that the vehicle handles properly on the icy roads, to slow down and learn how to drive in icy conditions. Use extra caution and use extra time to get to your destination.
The well-prepared driver will make a hefty investment and install a remote starter in his vehicle. That way he can start his engine from the comfort of his home or office and have a warm car ready to roll. Just press a button about 10 or 15 minutes before you have to leave. Ah, that's better. A warm car and a warm seat. It seems like nothing but trouble, all this cold and snow. But snow has its fun side too. There's skiing to begin with. The more snow, the happier the skiers are, and those companies which operate the ski hills. Every modern ski hill like Snow Valley, right in the center of Edmonton, is now well equipped with artificial snowmaking equipment. But they would be much happier by not having to use this expensive gadgetry and would greatly be pleased if nature provided all the snow for free. The skiers couldn't care less how the snow came to be, just as long as there's enough for many fun runs down the slopes. Edmonton also has many ski trails for cross-country skiing. The ones along the river valley are particularly popular.
Here at Snow Valley, our operating season starts pretty much the beginning of November, and we go right through until the end of March. The weather is a major factor for us. At the start of the year, we need colder weather to make snow, and towards the end of the season, we still need winter type weather to keep the snow in good condition. In order to stay busy and to have the right kind of conditions that people want to ski in, it's really nice to have temperatures that aren't too cold, because people really don't want to be outside when it's minus 20 or colder. And when we get into temperatures that are quite warm, there's a belief that our snow is melting and that there may not be good conditions. A lot of people don't understand that areas like ours that are in the middle of a city, and areas that don't get a tremendous amount of natural snow, really rely on snowmaking systems to keep the area operating. And when we do this, we actually, it's real snow. It's made with machines and water, and we spray fine particles of water into the air, and that water freezes as it comes down into snowflakes. We make the snow tremendously thick. There's 3 to 4 feet of snow out in most of the areas on the hill, which means we have a lot of snow to last us through most warm days throughout the winter. So there's a bit of a misconception there that if the snow's melting in your backyard, you feel that potentially there may not be snow in our backyard here, and that's not the case. We have a serious amount of snow here all winter, and we keep it in very good shape so that even on the nicest, warmest day, you'll have great skiing conditions. The weather does affect us in a lot of different ways. When we do get a little bit of snow in town, it gets everybody excited and they really want to come out and ski the fresh powder. And that can be anywhere from a millimeter of snow all the way up to many centimeters of snow. And it just, people who are outdoor enthusiasts in the winter and really like to ski, that's what they're looking for. They want some fresh snow. They want to get outside and play in that. So when it does snow in Edmonton, we do get larger crowds coming out to the ski area. Another weather factor that affects us is the temperature, for sure. We do need colder temperatures to make snow, and that's always helpful, but it doesn't really help you when you want to come out skiing. So when we hit the temperatures that are minus 20 or colder, our crowds drop dramatically. When we do hit temperatures that are closer to zero, our crowds are very, very large. So in an area like this, in the middle of the city, we would see upwards of 2,500 people a day come through the resort. And in an entire season, there would be approximately 200,000. In years where there's a lot of adverse weather, that being either unseasonably cold or unseasonably warm, our numbers are reduced. On a year where we would have a tremendous amount of natural snow and temperatures that are closer to zero, we'll have larger numbers. Here at Snow Valley, we have kids that come out all the way from 3 or 4 years old, all the way up to kids who are about 75 to 80 years old. We have a very large senior population that comes down, and there's a great ski club out of here, the Rocky Mountain Ski Club that the seniors belong to. They do great trips here at Snow Valley, and then they head to the mountains and have a great time. and we start lessons right from 3 and 4 years old. So the age is right from very, very little to, you know, quite old, and everybody can come out and enjoy a piece of the ski area. As far as precautions and getting ready for skiing, there's a lot of things you want to think about. You're going to be outside, so definitely dressing properly for an outdoor activity. On a colder day, you're going to want to have a number of layers on that you can keep yourself warm and keep your skin from being exposed to very extreme cold temperatures. On warmer days, you're going to want to have lighter clothes that will block the wind and still breathe, so technical type clothing that will allow you to, you know, exert some energy without getting too hot while you're skiing. You'll want to also make sure that you've got some physical conditioning if you're in a little bit of better shape, and if you've done some stretching and those types of things, then that definitely makes your ski experience better. So there's a number of websites. The Canadian Ski Council website goes through a number of exercises and stretching techniques. Others, you want to have some very good equipment while you're out here as well. So ski areas will have good quality rental equipment for you to use, and you can also purchase your own. So having equipment that is not outdated and still safe to ski on, and any local ski shop or ski area will be able to give you advice on your equipment, and also making sure that that equipment is taken care of. The bindings themselves will need adjustment from time to time as you change your boots, or as your height or your weight or your skiing ability changes. So if any of those conditions change, you'll want to make sure that you see a certified technician at either a ski resort or at a ski shop, and they'll adjust your bindings for you. As well, you want to make sure that your skis are tuned and ready for different types of snow conditions. Your skis will slide differently on different temperatures of snow, so if it's quite warm out versus being very cold out, you'll need a different kind of wax. There is a universal wax that does span most temperatures other than the extreme warm and extreme cold. So if you're a very avid skier, you'll want to look for snow conditions and temperatures at the resort you're going to head to and have the appropriate wax put on. You can also have your skis tuned for the sharpness of your edges, and this will help you on the snow that gets a little bit harder, so you can turn, and that will make your day much more enjoyable and much more safe.
Besides skiing, there's skating on the outdoor rinks of Edmonton. The parks of Edmonton have many hills on which to go tobogganing and sledding with the kids. And, of course, what could be more enjoyable than a good old-fashioned snowball fight? The kids will never get tired of making a snowman to add some character to the front yard. In summary, the people of Edmonton face head-on all the challenges that the snow and the cold winters throw at them. Life goes on as normal, slowed down a bit sometimes, and often enjoyed. Thank you for watching this informative documentary created by MTA International, Canada Studios. Allah Hafiz.